Hey guys, Brian delivers you the goods here, returning to you for an album review, for a new album review for this Friday's releases for February 16th. I don't think there's going to be a lot of new singles coming out this week. It's only the Dua Lipa training season, and I already reviewed the other tracks. But the Sum 41 track review is coming out, but being premiered for February 22nd. Because it didn't come out this week. Because apparently someone leaked it early. I thought it was coming out on the 14th, but it didn't happen. So this is for Jennifer Lopez's new record, This Is Me Now. I got a chance to listen to this anticipated record that I wanted to see if I'd like it or not. So I'm going to discuss what I listened to for her newest record, This Is Me Now. This is the sequel to This Is Me Then, the 2002 record. And I'll let you know my thoughts on this record overall. And give me 1 second, I gotta pause the video real quick. Sorry about that, guys. Had to let this one in, this little stinker. But, pretty much Titan. He's a cutie. But still, I'm going to discuss what I listened to for this new record by Jennifer Lopez, This Is Me Now, and let you know my thoughts on this album overall. So let's dive into this album review. Now, it starts with the title track, This Is Me Now, and off to a good start. Would I say this is my favorite opening track? Not necessarily, because of the rap she does at the bridge part of the song. It gets a little underwhelming. But overall, the remainder of the track and the rest of the song and how the execution of her regular vocals sound is pretty good. So I was a little impressed with this, but I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. I think it's the same rating I gave it when I reviewed it a week or so ago. It was somewhere around, I think, 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago. Or something like that, but pretty much, yeah, 4.5 out of 5. Then comes To Be Yours, and that's another solid track for what it went for. It's good in its own way, but I think there's some mixing issues with this track from time to time, but overall, it's fine. 4.5 out of 5. Mad in Love is a good track in its own way. I think this track was fine for what it went for. And I'd give it a 4.5 out of 5. Jennifer Lopez's vocals, or J-Lo's vocals, are not so bad in this. It's just there's some mixing issues with this track from time to time. I don't really like her rapping throughout this majority of the album. It's kind of hit or miss and a little underwhelming. And sorry about the background noise. That's my nephew doing that. Throwing a fit or whatever. But pretty much 4.5 out of 5 for Mad in Love. Then comes Can't Get Enough, the opening lead single for this record's announcement. Pretty much this was kind of mid. Do I hate this song? I think it's decent, but could have been a lot better. And just Can't Get Enough, I love that shit thing. I was just like, this sounds too cringy, how she's singing it, and the way she's singing it, it has its hit and miss moments, but overall, decent track, but could have been a little better. 4 out of 5. Not Going Anywhere is a above decent track. I think this track could have been slightly better, and yes, Titan, I see you. Sorry, he's needy. It's above decent, but could have been a little better utilized with how its mixing is and all that. So I'd give this a 4.25 out of 5 for Not Going Anywhere. I think some of her vocals from time to time, J-Lo's vocals, do sound okay, but the overall execution has its hit and miss moments. Rebound's kind of annoying. Do I hate this track? I think it's okay, but it kind of gets repetitious with how she says rebound so much in the chorus. It just kind of feels mid of a track and out of sorts in a way. This track didn't really do much for me, but it's fine. 3.25 out of 5. Dear Ben Part 2 is above average, I guess you could say. It could have been a little better, but hey, you get what you get with these tracks. 3.75 out of 5. I think her vocals from time to time sound good, but it's the execution with the lyrics have its hit and miss moments, and the way it sounds overall, it's sounding lovey-dovey. I mean, it's fine and all, but it's just, I know the song's about Ben Affleck, it's just second part, I guess, but overall, it could have been a little better executed. 3.75 out of 5. Hummingbird is above decent. It's not terrible of a track, but do I like it? I like the majority of it, but there are some rapping moments. Like I said, the rapping moments through this record is kind of underwhelming through this whole record and could be a little better utilized. But overall, it's above decent. 4.25 out of 5. Hearts and Flowers is another one that I don't necessarily hate, but it's another above decent track that can be okay at times and can be a little underwhelming. So 4.25 out of 5. Broken Like Me did have a nice acoustic guitar in this track, and the melody was pretty low key and just really nice. She did sound alright with this track. There were some times where there were some cringe moments, but overall this track did alright. 4.5 out of 5. And now come the last three tracks to close this record. This time around had too much mixing problems with the electronic work. It's just kind of hit or miss. But overall, her vocals weren't bad, but it's the rapping that I have an issue with. It just kind of a misfire for me. 3.75 out of 5. Then comes Midnight Trip to Vegas. This one is average. I don't necessarily hate this track, but I'll give it a 3.75 out of 5. I think her vocals do shine from time to time in this song, but it's the execution with the melody and how she's singing it from time to time is my underlying issue. 3.75 out of 5. And finally, we get to the greatest love story never told. I think the original album had Greatest Love Story Ever for This Is Me Then, the 2002 record, which that was like 22 years ago, to be honest. So it was a little while ago. And to make this a little over 2 decades later, the sequel to This Is Me Then, I think, yeah, this song is not a terrible closing track. I'd give it at least a 3.75 out of 5 because some of it feels a little dulled out and just the melody is like it's there and then it's a come and go kind of track. Like you'll like it for a time and then you'll forget about it. So pretty much overall 3.75 out of 5. Overall, production, mixing, and execution wise, I found myself thinking that this record was okay. It was meh to okay. It's in that range. But I'll at least give her props for the opening parts of the album being alright. They were probably the strong parts. The first 3 songs were the strongest, along with Broken Like Me, the 10th track. Everything else is kind of hit or miss, and not in a good way. It's kind of forgettable of a record. I don't hate this record, I just don't see myself coming back to it the remainder of the year. It's just okay, but it could have been a lot better than this, because there's some boring points through this record that I just found myself to be underwhelmed with. But overall, if I were to give this record an overall score, I'm going to have to give Jennifer Lopez, This Is Me Now, a 6.5 out of 10. It's okay. It's tolerable of a listen, but I wouldn't say it's my favorite listen for her whole discography. I've heard most of her records through her later years, like the last one, AKA, was not very good from what I heard because of majority of the songs kind of sucking. And the Love record was the 2011 song with On the Floor. That one was, I didn't hate the track On the Floor, but honestly, I think her older material is probably a little better from what I've gathered, but I haven't listened to her whole discography to determine, but I probably will be doing that in April. It's a definite possibility, but we'll wait and see what I decide to do in the coming months. So pretty much 6.5 out of 10 for Jennifer Lopez, This Is Me Now, her newest album. Hopefully you enjoyed this album review, and thanks for watching tonight.